Hello everyone! Today I'm going to talk about PiLR Health. Many of you may be here because you know exactly what you want to do with this tool, but before I get into how to get started with PiLR Health, I want to briefly go over what one can do with it. This video will cover what PiLR Health can do, how to access this tool, making a study, creating a survey, and adding participants. PiLR Health is a research tool that specializes in supporting ecological momentary assessment, or EMA. EMA studies use check-ins at specified intervals to understand what participants are doing, feeling, and/or thinking in vivo, or while life is happening. While this is the intended purpose of PiLR Health, the tool has also been useful for community health interventions and citizen science efforts. However, these are merely suggestions based on efforts by other PiLR Health users. As you will see, the tool is robust enough to handle many creative uses. Now that you have an idea of how PiLR Health might be used, let's get into how you can get started with the tool. To do so, first go to cloud.pilrhealth.com and you'll find this site page. Click I want to register to create a user profile, and after, send an email to PiLR, or PiLR, at iastate.edu, and you should be added within a day. Now when you log in, you should see a page that looks like this. You should navigate to the U-TuRN organization page, and you'll see something like this. To create a new project, you'll want to go to the Projects table and click Add New. The Add New button will open a project creation wizard, and within this wizard you'll be able to name your project, and the wizard will automatically generate a URL safe name. The second step of the wizard is the design. The design step allows you to decide how you want to set up your project. In the future, there will be project designs hosted by the U-TuRN organization, but for now, we're going to show you how to build the project from scratch. The last step of the new project wizard is to do some final touches to help your study get started. Here you can change the active time period, which is how long you want your participants to be involved in the study. You can change this later, but if you have an idea of how you want to use the tool, this can be a good chance for you to get everything set up in advance. You also have the option to add an initial participant, which we will do here. You can choose when they start the study, which we are starting on the 1st of the month. You also have the chance to set up a mobile app login, which will allow your participants to enter into the app on their own device. It's recommended that you do not use the participant's name on this. A good alternative is to use the participant number or participant number and condition label. Once you've created your project, you will want to add an instrument. The instrument in this case is the EMA instrument, which is the app that your participants will be able to access. You'll need to import this instrument. Eventually you'll be able to do that from the organization, but for now you'll be able to use the URL link which is included in the description of this video. Once the project instrument is imported, you will want to click on the More Configuration Options link to further customize your application. The configuration in this case is just the application that your participants will see. You can make multiple configurations so that there can be multiple apps, one for each condition, for example. Essentially, just think of the configuration as an umbrella for the surveys that you will create for your study. You'll need to think of a configuration name, which can be descriptive so that you have an idea of which configuration you are using at any certain time. A number will also be assigned to the configuration so that you can recognize it in your data output later. Now we're ready to make our surveys. To add a survey, you'll need to, within this first block, click the Add link, Here you'll be able to name your survey, you can give it a description, you can specify that it is self-report, which we will do here, so we don't need to worry about pushing the survey to our participants. If you want to add a description, you can. If you want to change the reference code, you can. Again, these are not seen by your participants. These are only for your data output and remembering what the survey is that you created. Before you make questions, you need to add sections to your survey. Sections are essentially blocks in Qualtrics, except instead of being primarily used for organization, you need a section before you can add a card or a question. The first thing that we're going to add in our survey is an instruction card. We will add a card title which describes what the survey is about. In this case, we are interested in knowing our participants' favorite color, and we'll add the description within the card text box. You'll want to use the instruction card anytime you have information for your participants that's considered additional to what the survey questions themselves supply. Next, we're going to add a multiple choice select one question. Here we will ask our participants to choose their favorite color. You'll notice that you also have the option to change the selection indicator. This just will change what a selected response looks like. I'll get into selection indicators in a future video. Now you'll notice that to input options, you have to follow a specific syntax described as the format value bar text. The value is what you are going to see when you export your data, and it also helps to organize the options. Once you get the hang of this concept, it's not too hard. I'll go over this again in a future video and go into a little bit more depth, but for now, just note that you need to supply a number, a bar, and then the text response that you want to show for each of the options that you want to give within any multiple choice questions. The final card that we'll want to add in our miniature survey is a question text response. This will be to handle the other option that we included in our multiple choice select one. Here we will ask participants to input their favorite color if they selected other in the previous question. You'll also notice that you're able to require a response to this question, and you can store the answer in a variable. When we made the project, we added a single participant. When you want to add more participants, you'll want to navigate to the project dashboard. From the project dashboard, you can add a new participant by selecting the link to add a new participant. Here you'll want to name them and potentially describe them like we did before. You'll want to select the active period. You'll only need to choose when it starts, and then the period of time that you specified will be the active amount of time. You'll also want to add device activation information. Here again, you'll want to supply a login ID. In this case, we are using the participant number and a letter that corresponds to their condition. You'll want to give your participant the login ID and the password, and they'll use that to get access to your application. In this video, we covered getting access to the PiLR Health website, creating your first project, and adding participants. In the future, we will go more in depth on survey creation, syntax and logic, adding participants, exporting data, user-friendly app creation guidelines, and as always, we will add more upon request. Thank you for watching.